Då ska vi se. Vad tror du om det? Vad tror du om det? Hi there BookTube, my name's Amanda and I'm new here and this is my very first video, so I thought I would introduce myself a little bit, and I have a few questions here that I'm gonna pull up to make it a little bit easier for myself. One is, what sparked your love for reading? Oh, that's a hard one. I've been reading since I was a child. I was very introverted as a child and I would always escape into other worlds. And then I kind of grew up, and as with a lot of other people, you stop reading during like college and your first year of working, but then I picked it back up like maybe 5 years ago. And what sparked my joy? I don't know what sparked it. I think I've always been reading. My dad's a big reader. I think I got it from him. So yeah, I've always been reading since for as long as I can remember. What's your top 3 favorite genres? What's your top 3 favorite genres? Fantasy, obviously. I would say like literary fiction, and maybe thriller or horror. It's hard to tell because I read just about everything. Lately I've been reading a lot of fantasy, but a few years back I read just literary fiction. So I think it comes and goes in waves for me. I'm a big mood reader, so I pick up whatever I feel like reading. Although I try to stick to a specific list, but it never goes the way I want it to. What's the last book you read that blew your mind? I think it will have to be this one. This is the Atlas 6, and if you've been on and in the book community for any period of time, I think you might have come across this. I am one of seemingly quite a few who really like this. I read this one fairly quickly. The sequel took me some time to get through, but I really like this one, and I'm thinking I'm going to make like a plot summary for those of you who don't really want to read all 3 books, because they are a little heavy sometimes. They are not as light and flowing as some may prefer. So yeah, that's coming out soon. Who is your favorite author and why? Do I have a favorite author? Hold on. Yeah, maybe. Okay. I think it's worth mentioning Madeline Miller. I have all her 3 books in my shelves. And by the way, English is my second language, which is why this is in Swedish. So, but anyway, I really love Madeline Miller's writing. She's so, she has this very flowing and beautiful and evocative voice that I just find so fascinating. This is like, if I were to write a book, I would want to have this kind of voice and flow. I really admire her. What's a book you think everyone should read? Is there a book I think everyone should read? Hold on. Okay, it could be this one. This is Fresh Water for the Flowers by Valerie Perrine, and this story is not something you would typically see in the book community. This is quite a slow story. It took some time to get through, but it was worth savoring. This is a story about a French woman who is seen as this kind of outsider by her community. She works at a cemetery as kind of the groundkeeper, and we get to know her and learn a little bit about her backstory, and it is filled with heartache and grief, and yeah, I think this is really worth reading. What's a book you're embarrassed to admit you love? Oh, okay. I'm not sure if it's embarrassing. It depends on which side of BookTube or BookTok you are, but I really enjoyed Akatar. Specifically, I enjoyed the first book of Akatar. In fact, that was kind of the book that got me back into reading after I took a break. And I remember staying up and reading the first one like through the night. And I haven't done that since, I don't know, since childhood. So that will always have a special place in my heart, I think. So yeah, that's a book, kind of a guilty pleasure book. I wouldn't read it again. Actually, I have it here, but I wouldn't read it again. And I never finished the series. In fact, I've never finished one of Sarah J. Maas's series, because I feel after one or two books they get a little bit repetitive. So I moved on and found authors and books I love more, although I still enjoy a little bit of Sarah J. Maas. She has a very specific script to her books, which is kind of predictable but always enjoyable as well. What's your favorite reading snack or drink? I'm not much of a snacker. I do prefer having a drink. It needs to be any drink. Right now I have coffee in this very sweet little cute mug. But I also drink a lot of tea, and occasionally a little bit of red wine will kind of scratch that itch if you want something a little bit luxurious. What are you currently reading? Ooh, this is a good one. I'm reading Hellbent, and I read Ninth House last autumn, and I fell in love with it. I loved it so much, and I'm about 30% through with Hellbent, and maybe I'll love it even more. It's so good, and this is the first one I've read by Leigh Bardugo. The first one I read was The Familiar, which I also really love. But there's something about her voice and her writing that kind of just captures you. And she's a very famous author and very well known in the book community, I feel like. But I feel like her Alex Stern novels are not as well known or as talked about as her Shadow and Bone series. So I wanted to give a shout out to Hellbent and Ninth House. And also, look at this cover. Look at this special edition. It's so gorgeous. I got this from Hemingway. I got them yesterday and they are so pretty. Like, look at those end papers. Gorgeous. What is your favorite place to read? Okay, so right now it's winter outside, but in spring and summer and fall, I really like to read outdoors. I live by the coast, which means I live on an island with no roads, so I have to take the ferry to work every day, which nice, but also a little bit inconvenient sometimes. But when the weather warms up, I really like to be outside reading. Actually, in fact, last year we built our greenhouse, where I put like kind of a bed inside, and that's my favorite spot to read because it's warm, it's cozy, it's silent, it's light, and it overlooks the sea. I'm gonna show you. Besides reading, what are some of your other hobbies or interests? I've been painting, specifically watercolor, for the past, I don't know, like 15, 20 years or something. So I've been doing that a lot, and it's only the past, like, I don't know, 5 years that I feel like I've been really good at it. I've always been very self-conscious about my art and like the results. But last year I hosted my very first art exhibition, which was just huge for me. And yeah, that was kind of a milestone for me. So I do art. I really enjoy photography. Since starting my kind of Bookstagram, I've been kind of picking up photography and videography more. I used to photograph a lot when I was a little bit younger, so that's kind of a new interest again. And I also live in a house with a garden, so I garden a lot in the spring and summer. And in fact, it's February, so which means that we need to plant some seeds soon. What's your favorite way to spend a free day? I would definitely say relaxing, just being at home. Probably reading, mixed with some writing, maybe some walking outdoors or being outdoors. It depends a lot on the season too, because in Scandinavia, in Sweden, where I live, the winters are, although they might not be very cold, they are very dark, and the days are very short. So in the winters I naturally stay a lot more indoors. But in the spring and summer I spend most of my times outdoors. I always keep some form of book with me, whether it's physical or on my Kindle or audiobook. So I feel like I'm always surrounded with books in some ways. Do you have any pets? Yes, I do. I have a cat named Morris. He's right here, but he's sleeping, so for now he's looking at me rather. Hey, vill du komma hit? This is Morris. He's 4 months old. We picked him up this Christmas, and he's so cute. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay, you're gonna go back to sleep again. Okay. What's one thing you're really good at? Ooh. Oh, that's a hard one. It's funny because I work as a teacher, and I used to ask my students when we have their assessments, like, what's one thing you think you're good at? And they always struggle to answer that question, and I clearly struggle just as much. One thing I'm really good at, I would say I'm pretty good at cooking, and I'm pretty good at expressing myself. Again, English isn't my first language, so it might take me a little bit of time to kind of find the proper words and make my speech flow naturally, but I'll get there. So yeah, I think cooking is one of the things I'm really good at. What's your favorite season and why? Spring, because it's sunny, it's warm, things come back to life, and I don't know, there's something about spring that makes life just seem easier. It's just me or anyone else feel that way. But yeah, are you a morning person or a night owl? Definitely morning person. I wake up around 6:30, no matter the day. It can be a Saturday or a Sunday, I go up at 6:30. I just feel like that I wake naturally at 6:30, and I get so restless just lying in bed. I want to get up and like get the day going. So I usually rise around that time anyway. What's one thing you're learning or want to learn? I really wanna learn how to write better. I have been writing for the past, I don't know, 4 years maybe, and I wrote out basically a whole book. I think I'm on my 3rd draft, and I have no intention of publishing it or anything. It's just for my own enjoyment. But I'm taking this short story class just to kind of get a grip on the method of writing, like how do you actually do it. I've been doing it just I've been writing just kind of for the fun of it, and doing what feels good or sounds right. But I want to see if I can make it better by actually learning like the methods and the ways of. What's your favorite type of music or band you're currently loving? I listen to a lot of ambience and classical music when I read, but I'm also been really loving, First Aid Kit. It's one of my favorite bands. They are a Swedish band consisting of 2 sisters. And if you haven't listened to them, I highly recommend them. So what do I want to do with this channel? Well, I read a lot, obviously. So I'm gonna show you what I read. I'm gonna make like commentary videos on things I read and see in the book community. I also really want to take you with me in my everyday life, like vlog styles. The surroundings here on the island is very scenic and beautiful, so I think a lot of you could enjoy that. And I also want to help you find some kind of hidden gems in the literary world, because many of us feel like the books that are popular on BookTok and BookTube are often kind of similar, and I feel that too, although I enjoy most of them. But yeah, I hope that we can explore some other books and other genres together to kind of expand our reading and expand our mind a little bit. So this is kind of my introduction to this channel. Let me know if we have anything in common, and introduce yourself in the comments down below. And if you like this video, make sure to like it, subscribe and stick around, and I hope to see each and every one of you in the next video. Bye!